Oh, hello and welcome to Crit Couch. I'm Michael.
I'm a little baby angel. I'm Skylar.
Little baby cherub.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited about the game start. So this is Actraiser 2. This game, oh man, the things you can say about this game. This is Stockholm Syndrome, the game.
Yeah, tell me how you feel about this game present day.
I actually love this game now.
Yeah. How about 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, I was very conflicted about this game. So we actually had somebody ask about this game for us to play it in the comment section of one of our Demon's Crest videos.
We're nothing if not accommodating.
And, oh God, I want to say... Oh, I should have looked this up before we got
That's
on.
fine. We're going to play it
it's,
for you.
Thomas Lawrence. Thomas Lawrence.
Tom DeLonge.
Here you go, man. But yeah, so this is actually a game that I had wanted to play. I played this when I was a kid, and it confused the crap out of me, which I think it did a lot of people who liked the first Actraiser game as well as various other Enix games. So let's get through this here real quick. So ripped and torn, the slain body of Tanzra was returned to the underworld, feeding on the intense hatred for each held for the master. 13 of Tanzra's most feared and powerful demons joined together. With their combined power, they raised the spirit of their mighty leader Tanzra, vowing revenge, unleashed these demons upon the land below. Move the Sky Palace until a land name appears and press the A button. I will give you a brief explanation of the land you have selected. Together, we must combine our power and rid this land of Tanzra forever.
Man, the Doom prequel's kind of weird.
So, Actraiser 2 was obviously the sequel to Actraiser, which was a weird hybrid platformer sim game that was developed by a group called Quintet. And Quintet, Soul Blazer is up on the channel right now. Quintet also did Soul Blazer. They did Illusion of Gaia and they did Terranigma, which were kind of this unofficial trilogy of games. They did an RPG called Robotrek, which I love, and then the first Actraiser, and then this one.
Are you going to skydrop a church on someone?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the first Actraiser, this is your main mode of moving around the world, and you would go into these action stages. You know, you'd be able to go to different lands, go into the action stages. You can kind of see places in the titles up here above. And then in the first Actraiser, after you beat the first action stage, there was this whole sim component where you would move. You got a little cherub that you got to control and move around the screen, and you would help the people populate their area. You would guide their building of their settlement, and you would seal monster layers. And then when you had sealed all the monster layers in a zone, the second action stage would open up. Building out the population gave you more life. It would unlock additional magic spells. So it was this weird, like, quasi-RPG mixed with the action platformer, which was the charm of that game. This has none of that.
Okay. That was a lot of build-up for...
Well, that was the whole thing. I have read an interview with the producer. He was part of Enix's Western division, and he was a younger producer at the time. He was fairly fresh, and he was the one that convinced them that audiences they didn't want the RPG elements, they wanted action games. And this would also have been, so this game came out in 1993. This would have been in the same phase of time that, like,
I was 4.
Yeah, but this would have been in the same phase of time where the Sega Genesis was winning the United States market, using this platform of, like, you know, we're faster, we're better, we're stronger. You know, basically a Daft Punk song, you know, was their entire motto. And he convinced them that action games are what they wanted. So Actraiser 2 turned into just an action game. So we can have these kind of remnant RPG elements where we can go to this. So this town of Diligence is the area that the 2 dungeons here will apply to. So the people here used to work very hard at keeping this land healthy. What did you read instead of healthy?
I was just the kerning is so weird.
Oh.
Like even it right there, like the spacing between
Yeah.
I and T. So
it was once famous for its beautiful forests and rivers. One day, these people lost their desire not only to work, but also to live. You may find answers to what has happened by exploring the town of Industen.
I mean, yeah, same, bro. Every time I go to work.
Yeah. So
Industen.
So this is going to be a weird playthrough because this is kind of a you either know the levels or you don't game. There's not a lot of exploring around and showing things off. There is a lot of if you know how to get through the level, you survive. If you don't, you get fucked. Which is part of why this game puts so many people off. So I'm going to, in this part, I am going to like kind of take us through and show you the mechanics and stuff and kind of futz around in the level to explain some of what caused difficulties with this game, because when some of these stages, when I go through them, it's just going to be like a minute and a half to beat the stage. Master, a strange cloud seems to appear, followed by rainfall, then disappear. Please try to locate the reason for this.
It's called weather patterns, my guy. Like,
it's a northerly. Like,
yeah. What do you, clouds appeared and then rain from nowhere.
What is geography?
Yeah, so you mean clouds?
You discovered Doppler radar. Fuck you.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So that and you did that same little effect was in the original Actraiser. I will say this game is probably one of the more beautiful games on the Super Nintendo.
Like had statue just a second ago.
Yeah, this was also a thing in the original. Like the master inhabits statues of himself to manifest in the main world. You may also remember
he's ripped.
Yeah, you may also remember in Soul Blazer, the master was like who our character answered to, and so that was also a running theme for kind of like these sort of heaven and earth games where like the master is their version of God or whatever.
He's just Conan who put on Valeria's armor basically at the end of the movie.
Move left and right. We have a shield that actually does block things, and this is important because you can block upward. You have an up slash, you have a side slash, you can slash while kneeling. Your shield will block while you're down. So you've got your main jump. If you double jump, you actually go into this glide. And
he's got like a landing.
Yeah, there is a straight up skid.
Oh, hey, buddy. Well, bye, buddy.
You can do a dive bomb. You can slash while gliding. And there's another kind of mechanical trick that you need to know if you want to like kind of understand this game, and that's you can jump cancel the glide by pressing the jump a third time, so you effectively can get a double jump without having to deal with the weird gliding. That is a thing that throws people because a lot of the jumps in this game are designed. You also have a down stab. This is very important. You are invincible while you are in this mode.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I landed and then I took damage, but there are a lot of, this is like your second strongest attack, essentially. This is your strongest basic attack. You also have, if you hold the attack button, you have magic. You can see the timer gets replaced by a magic spell. If I'm just standing, I release fire. If I am looking up, I shoot these little orbs.
Why does the timer pause?
It doesn't pause, it just switches.
Oh, okay.
I'm only going to be able to demonstrate a couple of these because I only have 3 MP to start with. Down gives you this earth shield. We will primarily, through the course of playing through the game, be using the bombs, like the little, when I held up. So, see, like I'm on normal mode. Everything.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Why is the timer on like a 3-second tick?
It's not. That is a little slower.
Yeah, I'm like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like wait. Check our timer next to it. Okay, so 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that's really weird.
So, like I said, this part is just going to be some slight demoing of like how the game works. This boss, this mini boss that's going to pop up right here, like. So like you might
the Venus flytrap. You forgot.
I am deliberately showing off his mechanics because to beat him, again, I'm actually going to like die and leave the stage in a second. Like But so like this guy, if you're trying to beat him conventionally, you know, you might be trying to dive bomb, you might be doing this sort of thing. You cannot take very many hits before you are gone.
Sure.
So this game frustrated a lot of people because it seems like there's a lot of stuff in your way. You have this big hitbox. Like it's really easy to take.
Junky.
Yeah, it's really easy to take damage. Like things like that happen. These dragonflies will drop down on you. There's lots of enemies that come at you from all angles. Things seem to move kind of slow. You'll note that like I jumped and kind of like killed that guy just immediately, and that's going to be a foreshadowing of how things are actually going to need to move. So if you try to just power through, like look how much health I have left. I am in real trouble here. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and reset this whole stage by dying and then come back in and show you what happens when you actually play this game correctly. Or I say correctly in a very specific reason. There's another interview with some of the devs of this game that I've read. I think it was in one of my Untold History of Japanese game development books. And they talk about how tightly they intentionally built the mechanics of this game. And that is true. This to me, as I played through it and as I began to understand the way the mechanics worked, started feeling more like Cuphead than it did a game that was imbalanced. And it is not as refined as Cuphead is in terms of an experience. They took the you have to do this action game thing to heart, and they built in all of these weird mechanics that feel accidental but are very deliberate. So, like, I know you're on your phone here.
No. You keep talking. I was trying to look for...
Well, you're going to want to see this.
Sure.
Okay. Because here, I am just going to start... Like, all of these mushroom caps, these are very specifically placed. There's a dragonfly that may pop up here. We go, boom.
Yep.
So...
Uh-oh.
It's fine. So when you get to a mini boss, everything despawns. So now he's going to drop.
It's like a dance over here. Well, okay.
So if you understand the mechanics, if you understand like using the shield and understanding that like projectiles do get blocked and they get blocked based on angles. If you understand things like the down jump, things like your diagonal slashes, this part is always a little tricky because that guy. So if you understand using this glide, you can just absolutely.
The duress of the controller right now is fascinating to me.
Well, it's also an old controller. To be fair, it creaks a lot. So
yeah, it just sounds like you're doing work over here.
So. That mud down there does like 4 health of damage. So if you accidentally touched that mud, you would absolutely just get fucking floored.
Okay.
Like if you had taken some accidental damage on that boss, if one of those like piranha frogs hits you, whatever. So this boss, he's also just going to die real quick because you utilize your magic. You can block all of his scythes. You use the angle of the bombs to catch him. He has one mechanic. Hey, he's not even going to get to do it. He's dead. Those green things on the bottom, those are spikes. So he has a mechanic where he sucks you in toward him, and if you touch those, you take a shit ton of damage. I beat this level in like technically speaking, under I think that was like a minute.
Yeah, I mean, a couple maybe, yeah.
If you know what you are doing in this game, you can fly through shit. If you do not know what you are doing in this game, everything is torture.
So is that practicing like the level itself, or is it knowing the mechanics of the game get you to do that?
Both.
Okay.
So the reason for the corruption of diligence was brought on by the rainfall, released from the cloud, ridden by the demon Fatiuge. Diligence can now return to life as it once was. So we've beaten the first stage for like the diligence area. So now there's another dungeon that will open up, and that's going to be Benefic.
So the reason I was looking at my phone is I wanted to find...
You wanted to find my ranting?
Oh, God, someone posted a comment asking for Actraiser 2. Maybe it'll get some views because every title would be like, this game is fucking awful, and I'm actively murdering myself to beat it.
Yep.
Here it is. Here, I just found it. I tried practicing going through half the game last night with copious amount of, like, saves while... While two people we know listen to me utter approximately 12 fucks per minute. So I only wanted to bring that up in comparison of how much effort you put into.
Yeah, and so we're like hitting at like the end of an episode break.
Yeah.
So I will finish this off with just kind of talking about that before, and then we'll start off the next episode with Benefic. But having been an Enix fan, their RPGs, their action RPGs and stuff, when I was a kid, I think a friend of mine actually like had this game, and I either they had it or they rented it, and I played it there, and I was super confused because the game is gorgeous, the artwork in this game is great, the pedigree of the development should have been there, and I was so frustrated by it because I wanted to like Actraiser 2 and I didn't. And
that always sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I understand why. Nobody is wrong for being upset at this game because it is such a curveball, and like I said, it kind of feels to me like a predecessor to Cuphead in the sense that like Cuphead is very tightly designed around practicing short encounters over and over and over again until you get good at them. But Cuphead is very straightforward about that, and it is a more modern design that enables that in a more visible way. This game is actually very forgiving. Like if you lose all 3 of your lives, you just get booted out and you can just do the level over again. Like there's no, because there's no experience, because there's no like collection items or anything, like it's literally just you didn't beat the level, you get booted out and you get to try again with your 3 lives and try and find another way. So it has that same kind of approach. And it's actually a very smart approach that was just it was ahead of its time in that regard, and it was outside of the realm of what people wanted from this company and these games and this series. And that's actually something that producer has said, like in this interview, like, you know, retrospectively, he didn't understand at the time that the heart of Actraiser was really the sim stuff. It was gameplay, but it was rooted in this idea of like caring for the people and resurrecting the land is the philosophical core of the game. And we talked about this in Soul Blazer, which is that like there's a philosophical core to quintet games that was not super common in the era of the Super NES. So I do love this game now after 3 weeks of it torturing me into loving it. And so next time we will hop into Benefic and we will see a little bit more.
I like the thought of your friend being like, yeah, man, you like all those other games, borrow this one. And just be like, get good, scrub.
Yeah. I think he actually was like, I don't know what's up with this. He was not an RPG player. He like I think this is one of those, his parents bought him a game or whatever, and he was just like, I don't get it. What the fuck?
I'm 8 and I don't know the concept of crippling depression yet, but I think this is pretty close to it.
This is a good primer.
It's a good approximation.
Yeah. Next time on Crit Couch.
Oh. I never know when we cut the episodes.
Whenever I feel like things aren't funny anymore.
All right, well.
All right.